Hello everyone, my name is Lily and I'm the creative director here at Bubblegum Cartoons, and today I'm speed animating part of Sophie's Picnic Panic, which is an animated short that goes along with our animated web series, Demonic Crepes. So while I'm speed animating here, I'm going to be answering some of your burning questions, so let's get right into some answers. Albeit Arson asks, do you have any projects you're working on, planning on doing besides Demonic Crepes? And yes, I constantly have tons of ideas for series and shorts, but I'm trying so hard to just focus myself on Demonic Crepes, and there's just so much that goes into it in the first place, like backgrounds and animation and design, and so I definitely keep myself busy with all those things. Jordan Goins asks, I'm starting the process of animating my web series. What are some good animation programs that are free or inexpensive? I don't know any animation programs that are free, but I know there are some apps for like the iPad that you can use. I used one of my friends, it was really fun. I use Toon Boom, and if you are a student, you do get a very big discount on that. Coco Marshmallow asks, how many people work in your studio? So it's really just the two of us. It's Carolina, my composer friend, and there's me who does all the visual stuff. So we are both sound and visuals. Ooh, this is a good one. Super Cutie Pink Puffball asks me, what is your favorite Gemite in Demonic Crepes? And you guys, I love so many of them. So if you guys don't know, Gemites are kind of like the magic crystals that are the epicenter for all of Sophie's powers throughout the show. She gets them as gifts from different, things throughout the galaxy. They're kind of like minerals from other planets, and they have very unpredictable powers. So I think my favorite one might be the Magic Mochi Mallet one, just because it's like really weird and really specific, and you can really knock things around with it. But there's a lot of fun things. I do have a huge affinity for the cheesecake powers just because I drew that outfit so many times, and it's really fun to draw the cheesecake effects and all the different things like the slip and slide you can make out of strawberry jam and stuff like that. So that's a really good question. Very, very interesting. Cloudy Nights asks, what are the most important things in an animated series in your opinion? And for me, it is story. Story is super important because just the love that goes into the characters in the story, because if you don't love these characters, if you don't care about the story, then how do you expect your audience to care about them? Also, the visuals are pretty important too, because no one wants to stare at something that's ugly. And also the music, because the music should swell and really, encapsulate this world and express, the feeling of the scene. So I guess those are kind of like my top three. Iron Artist Adventures asks, was it so hard to prepare things like music and episodes before you start animating? And yes, I will tell you, music is one of the toughest things. I personally can't even do it myself. Carolina is a master of music. She's so wonderful and so talented. I'm so stupid when it comes to music stuff. I can tell you if it sounds good or not, but she is the master. She is I really couldn't do this without her. She is so talented. We had a live orchestra record for Lights Out, my animated short. That was my thesis film, and you guys, I was just gobsmacked when I was in that recording booth. I was just looking at these violinists and these trumpeters, and I'm just all these people are here for me and my little project. It was just so crazy. Popat Iklop, sorry if that's a terrible way of saying your name, says, I am French and I want French subtitles, please. We certainly shall. We're also planning on translating it into Spanish as well, because Carolina is from Spain. And I'm sure there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people who would love to enjoy Sophie in, their mother tongue. Fofi Pet and Gaming asked a couple questions. First of all, we all know that Demonic Crepes is inspired from your trip to Tokyo. Where do you get inspired other than your trip from Tokyo? And I get really inspired by my friends. A lot of the characters like Anna and even my friend Sophie were huge inspiration to this. And other than my friends, my real life friends, it's kind of lots of nostalgia, everything I grew up with, lots of TV shows, video games, all those sorts of things, all kind of roll into one world that I created that I felt safe and comfortable in, and one that I really wanted to exist. How did you think of opening a YouTube channel, and do you have any advice if I want to open my own? I wanted to create a crowd of people, a group of fans, before I just just released my show into a void. I wanted to make sure that there's an audience, and it has been a very slow build for me. So while I'm getting this audience, I really wanted to educate you guys on how I did it. I want to show you behind the scenes like I'm doing my speed draw right now. I just wanted to show you guys that because I never had that. I never knew how TV shows were made, so I thought it'd be great to show you guys, like the face behind the animation and how it's done. Nico Weaver asks, what is next for you after the pilot? And the answer is, I am planning on storyboarding episode 2 of Demonic Crepes. Polly Cipher, who has been with us for a very long time, welcome back. How will you feel if Demonic Crepes had to compete with other webtoons like Has-Been Hotel, Long Gone Gulch, and Lisbon and Ampoda? I haven't heard of those last two, but I honestly don't think it's a competition at all. It is really great. It's not like you're buying a brand of like soda or something like that. You kind of like have your one and you stick to it. I'm so glad more and more people are watching web cartoons. I think it's just like it makes the community bigger and better, and my show is nothing like those shows. It certainly doesn't have the following of those shows, doesn't have the team of those shows. So I am very aware of the level that I'm on right now, and I'm just putting my best foot forward, and I know they are, and they are so good. They are so talented, and I'm so glad so many creators can really just make their own shows and put it on YouTube. So for me, I don't think it's a competition. It really just is. We're all out here doing our best and supporting each other. The Same Old Show asked, what inspires you when you feel down and what makes it all worth it? And this is a very big question because I think most artists kind of suffer with this like feeling of like, oh, I don't do enough or I'm not good enough. And I'm no exception. A lot of times I'm like, oh gosh, my stuff is no good, especially when that Instagram algorithm really likes to take you for a ride. But I always draw joy first. So I think of things that make me really happy. I think of things that are really nostalgic for me, things that are very uniquely me, because when I moved out to California, I realized that a lot of people had very similar experiences, or they took a lot of things for granted, especially a lot of opportunities, because these things were always handed to them. So I just kind of like, instead of feeling out of place here, I just kind of went back to my roots of like coming from New England, coming from, a big family with lots of brothers and all my adventures from when I was a kid, and I realized the stuff that made me different is going to also help me stand out. That was actually a quote from one of my friends, Anne Shen. She was really nice. And so I find that like pulling from those things that are so uniquely mine really makes me so happy, and like not trying to do what I think people want to see. And it makes it all worth it when I'm satisfied with it. I know it's really great when a lot of people notice that your work is really great, but at the same time, when I see that picture, or I see especially animation, I will play back my animation over and over and over again, because you just keep getting like this little pang in your heart when you see it come to life, and that is so worth it to see Sophie and Pancake and Alistair. They're all breathing, they're all talking, they're all interacting with each other, and to create life like that, it makes it so worth it. Even when you have your days where you're just kind of feeling a little blue. Lady Safi asked, will you make Demonic Crepes merch besides t-shirts? And I certainly plan on it. I really hope so. I would love especially to do a pancake plush. I would love to do some of those gemites, like bows that you can clip onto like your princess dresses to dress up, or bows to put in your hair, that kind of stuff. Of course, there's things you can do like pins or purses. I would love to do Sophie's purse. Another one is Sophie's phone. So she kind of has this Powerpuff Girls kind of phone. You can see it in trailer number 3, and I kind of designed that to be like a toy phone where you can pick up the phone and then someone will say like, Princess Super Crystal, we need your help. And then, as a kid, you can hang it up and pretend to go save the day. Because I used to love toys like that when I was a kid. It really helps immerse you into like this world, and you feel like you're part of it. And finally, Anxious Coffee asks, how did you come up with every different Gemite transformation power? And this is a really good question because, like I stated before, the show wasn't magical to start off with. It was just an example of how Sophie was really resourceful, and she didn't, just depend on one kill-all attack from like a magic wand or something like that. So I added the Gemites kind of like for flair and kind of for fun, and like push that idea further. So when it came to Gemite powers, they start off really simple, like just super strength or fire powers, but then I wanted to make it like, because fire powers is very, very helpful. I want to make something that's just so unhelpful, like cheesecake powers. What the heck are you gonna do with cheesecake powers? There's so much you can pull, you can do. You have to really think about the villain and how they're built. Like I built the picnic monster to be top heavy so we could trip him easily, and have a big eye because it makes him more vulnerable. So even though he has like a laser eye and he's a grand size, you can use a cheesecake to take down a monster. And I want kids to know that even if things seem impossible, you can, there's always something you can do. But then I dove a little deeper, and so it wasn't just, like cheesecake. I wanted to like pull aspects of Japanese culture in there without being super obvious. So I didn't want her to have like sushi powers. Like I wanted to be able to look back on the show and not cringe, you know what I mean? So, like the mochi mallet. It's not something that's very obvious, like you don't see that in Avril Lavigne's music video or anything like that. So I wanted to do things like that, or even like the magic obi that, she has in that like little animation clip. So things that kind of like pull in from Japanese culture that aren't overtly obvious, like the backpack. That's a very, famous, very common, popular backpack in Japan. So I just stuck wings on it, which was also would make great merchandise. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys have more questions, please leave them down below. I respond to every single one of you. And of course, shout out to our patrons on Patreon. You guys are so totally wicked. I love you guys. Go ahead and go check out the July newsletter and some new art that has been posted on the Patreon page. Shout out to Fan Art of the Week. This is adorable. I love it so much. You guys are so talented and you never cease to amaze me with all your masterpieces. And until next time, stay inspired.